Good evening. Council met in executive session prior to this meeting. We discussed the following matters. Personnel, 2 routine personnel matters, contractual, Whisper Lake sewer easement, and a potential telecommunications agreement, legal update on utility condemnation case, and advice on regarding agenda items. No vote was taken. In executive session, do I hear a motion to ratify this report?
So moved.
Councilman Carnes made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michael seconds it. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. I would like to welcome everyone to the Town of Lexington Council meeting. This meeting is being held at Town Hall, January 29th, 2024. This meeting is being broadcast on the town's YouTube channel. I am Hazel Livingston, the mayor of the Town of Lexington, and I would like to introduce my fellow council members. To my left is Mayor Pro Tem Ron Williams.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Todd Lyle.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Jenny Michaels.
Good evening.
To my right is Council Member Todd Carnes.
Good evening.
To his right is Council Member Gavin Smith.
Good evening.
To his right is Council Member Will Allen.
Good evening.
And at this time, I would like to welcome the Reverend Trevor Miller from Mount Horeb Church for tonight's invocation.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. My name is Trevor Miller. I'm one of the pastors of Mount Horeb, and it's an honor to be able to open this session in prayer tonight. So if you join me, let's pray together. Gracious and loving God, as we convene in this sacred space today for communal discourse, we humbly seek your guidance and your wisdom. Bless each participant with open hearts, minds that are receptive to empathy, and a commitment to the common good. May our discussions be grounded in respect, fostering an environment where diverse voices are not only heard but truly understood. Grant us the strength to navigate challenges with grace and the insight to discover innovative solutions for the good of others and for your glory. May unity prevail over discord, compassion over indifference. As we deliberate for the betterment of our wonderful town, instill in us the courage to act justly and the humility to acknowledge our collective responsibility. And by your grace and your mercy, may this meeting offer hope and light to create a town that follows the greatest commandment, to love you above all else and to love our neighbor as ourselves. Thank you for your love, God. It's in your name that we pray. And together everyone said, Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to welcome veteran Sharon Cosner Pashar. Yes, ma'am. She's going to lead us in our pledge tonight.
Okay. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sharon, would you like to tell us a little bit about your service?
I'm here representing the Lexington County Veterans Group. I'm a retired Air Force Master Sergeant, spent 22 years, all Air Force, OEF, Cold War, did Border Patrol, was in the desert, did humanitarian for Katrina, so it was a very I would say nice career for me. But I do have a coin for you from our group, if you'd let me come up and give it to you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for being here tonight to do the pledge for us and for your service. At this time, I will now call the meeting to order. Are there any deletions on items on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a copy of the minutes from the council meeting on January the 2nd, 2024, and council work session on January the 16th, 2024 are provided in your packet. Are there any omissions, additions, or corrections? I do know that, I think it was on the work session where there was 5 in favor and 2 opposed. Normally we put the names of who was what. I don't. Yes. It's just normally in there for easy to find later date.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can I just say I really appreciate that we're reviewing minutes from just the last few meetings. It's great work staying on top of that.
So do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved,
Councilmember Lyons makes the motion,
subject to the additions.
and do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilmember Williams, or Mayor Pro Tem Williams seconds it. Is there any discussion besides what was already shared? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our only presentation tonight is from George Perry from Knights of Columbus.
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like it's more than just George.
I brought my bodyguard with me.
Okay.
We're members of the Knights of Columbus, fourth degree, and our goal is patriotism. And we traveled around looking at different flags that are up, and we don't have to go far this time because your flag out here is awesome. It's the best flag display that I've seen. We'd like to present you with this award, Knights of Columbus Patriotic Flag Award, Town of Lexington, presented by myself, the Assembly 2655, the Knights of Columbus, State of South Carolina.
Oh, come down
Go
again.
that way. Chair's blocking it. There's chairs blocking. You might want to go that way just to be easier.
Yeah.
You're sending me different ways.
You know how to do it.
Room down there.
Code I gotta get in? Oh, someone's gonna take. Oh, yes. Where's your,
I'll go to the left. I'm the tiny.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Great, ma'am. Thank you. We also do awards for law enforcement and military and firemen and paramedics, and we'll be working on a few of those now. Thank you for your time.
Actually, we probably should have given this to the staff, because they're the ones that do the great job out here of keeping this
Yes.
flag.
You guys do a wonderful job. Thank you. Hey, by the way, your city is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Going to the school. Just my opinion, I could be wrong.
Secret's out.
Next up, we have the vision plan update, and unfortunately, it's not very much to it tonight. Due to all the rain and the cold and the messiness that we've had going on, the progress has slowed on the Virginia Hilton Park and the Old Mill some. However, work is expected to pick up as spring approaches, and to see the latest on all the vision plan projects, visit lexsc.com. And next, we will have a traffic update from Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. The Town of Lexington Transportation Crew has completed the work at Whiteford Way intersection with Sunset Boulevard. It has got to be one of the fastest traffic projects we've been able to get done. There are now 3 exiting lanes from Whiteford, which will improve greatly the operational efficiencies at this location. And the crews will repaint the striping Tuesday night around 8 p.m., so plan on a little delays if you're out Tuesday night around 8 p.m. and go by that area. Paving work has completed at the intersection of Thompson Street and Hendrick Street as part of the project that Palmetto Renovations Development did. There will also be a lane closure on East Main Street at Martell's Drive to remove the broken utility pole that we've been waiting a long time to get
Yes.
down. About a year and a half. That'll happen sometime Wednesday between 9 and 2. We're not sure exactly when they're going to show up and do the work because the utility company's doing that, but it will be done if nothing goes wrong on Wednesday. A lane closure is also planned at 607 Columbia Avenue at Vivid Church, right there at the Triangle, this coming Friday to repair the broken catch basin that's there. We encourage you to follow the town's social media pages for traffic alerts and updates. Please call 803-358-7273 to report any traffic signal issue, unsafe roadway condition, or a pothole that needs repair. That's all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Next up, we'll start with our first item of new business is the adoption of an emergency ordinance for Maiden Lane wastewater services is from Mayor Pro Tem Ron Williams.
Well, the week's back up. Here we go. Okay, section 5-7-250 of the South Carolina Code of Laws empowers council to enact by 2/3 vote of members present emergency ordinances affecting life, health, or safety of its citizens. The town is aware of a sewer line break located at 117.5 East Main Street and has taken remedial measures to prevent spillage in the area. The remedial measures are only a temporary solution, and the permanent solution is significantly delayed due to steps required to obtain an easement. The extended delay unnecessarily risks significant and potential hazardous conditions due to the nature of the temporary remedial measures, particularly during heavy storm events. Accordingly, the town wishes to protect the public welfare and resources by seeking to implement a permanent solution under an emergency authority. Make a motion to adopt an emergency ordinance to address the sewer line repairs that is attached.
Councilman Williams, Pro Tem makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilmember Lyle seconds it. Is there any discussion on this?
No discussion, Mayor, but I think we should tell everybody that significantly more communication should be forthcoming in a matter of days, and hopefully we can provide them more information about permanent solutions.
Thank you, Councilman Carnes. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our next item of new business is the first reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County map 4317-09-006 located at 315 Reed Avenue from Councilmember Todd Lyle.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. John Bone owns approximately 0.35 acres located at 315 Reed Avenue and has petitioned to annex the property. Single-family home is currently located on this property. Properties in town near this one are zoned protected residential, and Reed Avenue is classified as a local road. Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their past January meeting and recommended the same zoning and road classification for this parcel. So, Madam Mayor, I'd make a motion for first reading approval of the annexation of parcel 4317-09-006.
Councilmember Lyle makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand, please. And it is unanimous. Our next item of new business is the first reading of an ordinance to rezone 329-337 Railroad Avenue is from Councilmember Todd Carnes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Miss Linda Thomas owns a single parcel located in 300 block of Railroad Avenue. 3 single-family homes and 1 mobile home are located on the property. Ms. Thomas is requesting to rezone the property from protected residential to protected residential 2 to allow the property to be subdivided into 4 separate lots that conform to the zoning classification of the property. Properties in the immediate area of this one are zoned protected residential, high-density residential, and limited commercial. The Planning Commission reviewed this request during their January meeting and recommended against rezoning the property. So, Madam Mayor, I will put the motion on the floor that the action requested is a first reading to rezone the parcel from protected residential to protected residential 2 for the council to vote.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
So there's a second. John, can you tell us why they denied it?
I was there, I can speak to it as well.
This is an interesting situation. The Thomas family has, like the write-up says, there's 3 houses and a mobile home on one parcel that were moved there 30 years ago, 40 years ago. They've asked to subdivide the property into 4 lots. The Problem is, the property is zoned protected residential right now, and the proposed subdivision does not meet the side yard setbacks for protected residential, and the two center lots are not sized properly for protected residential. So they took it to the Board of Zoning Appeals and requested a variance, and the Board of Zoning Appeals referred it to the Planning Commission because the two variances that they need are essentially what differentiate protected residential 1 from protected residential 2. Size of the setbacks, size of the lot. It went to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission was concerned about recommending in favor of protected residential 1 because it would be in favor of protected residential 2, which would make the lots compliant. Because of it's kind of a little bit of spot zoning, be protected residential 2 right in the middle of a bunch of other different types of zoning classifications. But I think more importantly, what they were concerned about is if you zone it protected residential 2, what's to say those houses are removed and you could then potentially sell the property to a developer that wants to do townhomes or patio homes, something more high with a higher density. So they felt like it was not appropriate to solve this problem with the rezoning.
Yep.
It is scheduled to go back to the Board of Zoning Appeals on Thursday.
John, there was a question about was each house on its own septic system, and was the septic system defined within the property limits of the, you're going to cut it into 4 pieces, was those, each 4 pieces had its own septic tank field and septic tank?
We've been told that is true, but we don't have anything to verify that. We haven't asked for anything, but we don't have anything in the file to verify that.
Could we require DHEC permitting on septics before we make a decision?
You could defer this until
I think
next month if you
to
wanted to.
Councilmember Williams' point, if they are able to go through DHEC and get 4 approved drain fields based on the soil type and number of bathrooms, that would resolve that issue.
But does it-
To be clear, the septic system is there of some sort. The town doesn't know what it is, and neither did the committee or the commission, so that's why they pushed back. I mean, I will, I'd like to make a motion that we table it if the folks are willing to go to DHEC and get us some proof of where those septic tanks are and that they are, in fact, on each individual lot and not commingling on the lots.
But it still doesn't change the fact that it would be the high-density development right there with PR1.
It does not change that, but I'm not willing to consider it until we at least had that proof.
I think you have a lot of things that are grandfathered in right now that you can avoid continuing to grandfather in if you give them individual parcels. Is that not right, John? I know the side setbacks aren't standard, but right now you have 4 individual buildings on a single parcel.
Yeah, it's already non-conforming.
Correct. So right now you can't convey any portion of it. It's an all or none.
It's all or none, yes. We were presented with a plat that's in your packet that we were unable to approve because it's non-conforming.
Correct. What do you think? What do you recommend?
Well, I think I'd have to go with the Planning Commission. I
Okay.
mean, it was a unanimous decision to recommend against it.
So, do you think they're going to meet the criteria of the BZA instead of getting a rezoning to get a variance for the setbacks? Do you think they have a chance of meeting those 4 standards since it's grandfathered in?
That's going to be a difficult issue too. We started with that board initially because we thought that was the quicker, easier issue to address. It wasn't until we until I started doing the write-up for the Board of Zoning Appeals, I realized it was more than one issue. It wasn't just the side yard setbacks. The 2 center lots aren't big enough to meet PR requirements either.
So, but did I understand right that BZA didn't rule on it? They just kicked
They
it to
tabled it and referred
kicked
it
it
to the
Planning
Planning
Commission.
Commission.
So it seems to me like that would be, I mean, I would think the easiest way to handle a non-conforming property like that would be to get specific variances, and that would preclude some kind of weird PR2 thing popping in there later on. And I would think treating the mobile home separately, seems like that's 0.26 acres, just kind of pulling that out. It seems kind of muddy the waters. The others are stick-built. Is that mobile home, is that thing detitled and tied to the ground, or is it truly mobile?
The applicants have told me that they could move that, but that lot's not the issue. I don't think the mobile home is too close to the property line.
Right, yeah, the mobile home looks like it could be conforming, and if y'all,
Well, you could move that 1.5 feet.
right, yeah.
And then,
We're gonna let you speak, ma'am. Ma'am, we're gonna let you speak in a minute. Yeah, we'll let you speak in a minute. Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's your property. We'll give you a voice. So our options are go back to BZA and see what BZA says, or they just remain grandfathered, but they can only convey the property as a whole, and they can never really subdivide it. Is that my understanding? Am I missing anything else?
yes, I made a suggestion that if you took one of the houses out, you could make it compliant, but then you'd only have 3 lots, not 4.
Yeah. Can we ask, Madam Mayor, if these
Yes.
homeowners would like to speak to us? Thank you, John.
Can you give us your address? Name and
I'm
address?
I'm hearing impaired, so if you'll bear with me.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I wanted to say something. I think I heard you talking about the septic tank.
Will you give us your name and your address so they could
I'm
record that?
sorry, Linda Thomas, 332 Railroad Avenue, Lexington.
Thank you.
Thank you. I went back and tried to find those permits myself, and I even went to DHEC, and they said that they were so old that prior to '09, I believe it was, that they were not on record, and there was no way for me to get a copy of that record. However, when they were put in by a licensed contractor, Sharp Septic Tank. Mr. Sharp is now deceased, and of course his son does not have current records, but they were put in according to Lexington County Code. All of these houses were put in according to Lexington County Code. This permit's been pulled on everything that was put in. And what was the question about the mobile home?
No, I was just asking if it should be treated separately since the others are actually stick-built, and I was asking, is it detitled?
Yes.
It is detitled, okay.
We put that in according to code.
Okay. So,
Everything-
I mean, just looking at this, like, I mean, they got 6-foot side yard setbacks, and we've got houses all over this town that's got 5-foot side yard setbacks.
Yep.
That are PR2, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of them. So ideally, this would go through BZA, and BZA would legitimize this because these people built this. When they built this at the time they built it, presumably they built it according to specifications at that time.
For Lexington County.
So it doesn't seem very equitable not to provide them some remedy to actually subdivide it up, but not rezone it to PR2 so that anything within PR2 could go in there. Thank you, ma'am. Unless anybody's got any questions, I just don't know.
We would like to retire and make these homes available to small families. And instead of somebody that's going to come in and buy all 3 of them at one time, leave them as rentals, as bad landlords.
But your intent is to subdivide them and sell them individually, or subdivide them and rent them individually?
Sell them individually.
Okay.
And hopefully bring in the town money and beautify them.
Thank you.
We plan on fixing them up no matter what happens.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And we appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Mayor.
May my husband
Can
speak?
she stay up here with me? I'm here impaired.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes.
David Thomas.
David Thomas, same address. All right, I haven't really understood everything that's going on. I turn my hearing aids wide open, and I'm hearing things that I don't want to hear, and then things I do want to hear.
Yes, sir.
This is what puzzled me about the whole situation. When we moved the houses in, all of them were relocated. In fact, two of them were right where we're standing. She says not to tell them that, but anyway, and we moved them out there. We were in the county, and it was zoned multi-housing, 8 units at an acre. And in 2002, when we got houses in place, they said, well, you got to have city water. You can't operate off a well. You get city water, we're going to annex you. And suddenly we became RL4. This was in 2002. I had copies of it made, but I left them at home. I'm sorry. All right. In 2009, the same property became PR. It was all grandfathered in, and the mobile home has been there the whole time. And now we're simply requesting for it to be zoned to a situation so we can subdivide them, sell them. If we sell them and I know you're not interested about selling, but if we sell them to an investor, they're going to stay just like they are. If we renovate them, we're going to add 4 nice-looking homes across the street. We just did one up the street that we owned, 351. And so what I feel like is we've done a number of homes about over the city. Everybody here, I know y'all not here for the money, not just the money. You want the town to look better. You want Lexington to look like a town, and it is a beautiful town. We don't live in the town. We live right across the street. If you have a copy, yeah, we're in the county. We own 3 properties right across the street. And I'd like to be in the town, but it's just not that simple. I had talked with John about going ahead and including us because I'd like to be part of Lexington County. I'm down on Lexington. And the other thing is I'm 82 years old. I'm ready to retire. And if I can get this property rezoned and get it sold, then maybe I can take a few years off. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mayor?
Do you have any other questions for us?
No, ma'am. John, Mr. Hanson, can you come back up real quick? Is there any way for staff to find out for us about the septic systems? Because my concern is if we break these into 4, and for some reason one of these houses is sharing a septic that's on another piece of property, are we creating a mess for somebody to inherit unknowingly?
We can certainly do some more inquiries, but I don't, they don't have the records. I don't know what DHEC may or may not have.
So should we defer this to, it goes back to,
Sounds to me
Try to
like
get
maybe that's what you need to do.
Maybe, yeah.
yeah,
I'll make a motion, we,
defer?
go ahead.
I was just wondering, I think everybody agrees the right thing to do is figure out a way to separate these out, or maybe that's a big assumption, to try to separate these out without rezoning it to PR2. Is there any ability for council by ordinance to handle something like this separately?
You have to ask your attorney that
I mean, it's-
question. I don't think
I mean,
so.
I'm just looking at the scenario going, the man built these houses according to code, and he got forcibly annexed into town, and he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Like, we owe him some relief. We just got to figure out the way to give him relief without
Going to BOT.
without setting ourselves up for failure 30, 40 years from now. So I was just curious about that. So maybe it goes to BZA, and then if it doesn't have a positive result in BZA, then maybe we could explore other alternatives.
I would suggest you table it until we find that out.
Perfect.
Okay.
Based on that comment by staff, I make a motion to table this until after BZA.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Lyles seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor of tabling it, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our next item of new business is first reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map 5498-05-045 located in the 100 block of Industrial Drive is from Councilmember Gavin Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I hope I pronounced this correctly. I believe it's Salacia Construction LLC owns 3.07 acres located in the 100 block of Industrial Drive and has petitioned to annex the property. A small medical device manufacturing company is being planned on the site. Properties in the town near this one are zoned industrial. Industrial Drive and Interstate 20 are both classified as arterial roads. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their January meeting and recommended the same zoning and road classification for this parcel. All that said, I make a motion for first reading approval.
Councilmember Smith makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes makes the second. Is there any discussion?
Who's coming to town? Jack, do we know? Anonymous coming to town. Perfect.
Hearing no more discussion, all those in favor raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our next item of new business is the first reading of an ordinance to enter into mutual aid agreements with the Lexington Police Department and 39 respective entities is from Councilmember Will Allen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To enter into mutual aid agreements or MOUs with Lexington Police Department and 39 respective entities. And I think we needed to add one more to this.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. I have a note from the chief and a text from the major. We also need to include Medlin's Tech. It's got to come back so we can add it for the second reading.
Okay. So with all that being said, I move for first reading approval.
Councilmember Allen makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Councilmember Smith seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our next item of new business is the Utilities Terms of Service Agreement is from Councilmember Jenny Michaels.
The utilities application does not contain language requiring the account holder to grant the town access to the property for purposes of maintenance and operation of the system. There are ordinances that address the issue for properties that are inside the town limits, but the issue is not so clear when dealing with out-of-town properties. Town council may wish to add language to the terms of service agreement whereby the applicant agrees to allow access to the property for maintenance and operation purposes. This could serve to alleviate the problem on future accounts. The application is attached as well as the suggested revisions. The additional language is underlined. I would like to make a motion for approval to add access language to utilities application as recommended and written.
Councilmember Michaels makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our next item of new business is the appointments to boards and committees is from Mayor Pro Tem Ron Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. We have received an application for an appointment to the town of Lexington committees and boards. The following were submitted. The Board of Appearance Committee was Amelia Pacta. Historic Preservation Review Committee was Lori Horton-Curie. Planning Commission was Betsy McCall. Board of Zoning Appeals is Dawn Weatherly, and Traffic Committee will be Brian Maddox. I'd like to make a motion to appoint each of these individuals to their respective committees.
I'll second it.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams makes the motion. Councilmember Smith seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our last item of new business is the liaison appointments to the Joint Water and Sewer Commission and the Central Midlands Council of Government, and it is from Councilmember Todd Lyle.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Following a town election, council reviews council board member appointments for 2-year terms. Listed below are the proposed council member appointments to the 2 boards, with Joint Water and Sewer Commission, the appointment being to Hazel Livingston, with an alternate to Ron Williams. Central Midlands Council of Government Board being appointed to Todd Carnes. Also, Madam Mayor, this is worth noting, but about 2019 or 2020, this council chose to vote and remove the liaisons from the other committees or councils, or commissions, excuse me. And so this is intentionally blank because we're going to continue to affirm that we think it's best for the hierarchy of liaisons to be answering to all of us equally, so there is no hierarchy, but more importantly, all council members are encouraged to be engaged and involved in any and all of the different committees and boards. And so with that, I would move for approving these appointments. So
Councilmember Lyles makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilmember Michaels makes a seconds it. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Are there any announcements from anyone tonight on council? If not, I know that council spoke and told staff that they wanted to know what our citizens wanted in communication. And they have come back and they have a 2024 communication survey that we want to hear from you. The town of Lexington is conducting a communication survey. Your input is vital in helping us enhance communication and better serve the needs of our community. We ask that you please take a few minutes to share your thoughts and preferences as it pertains to communications here at the town. The survey will be posted across town social media accounts and on our website and delivered via email to any town utility customers. This survey will begin Tuesday, January the 30th and run through Sunday, February the 11th. And I encourage all of the fellow council members to share it in your neighborhood pages and anywhere else that you'd like to see it shared, and try to get as many people to fill it out as possible. But that was one of the things that was on our top list of priorities, and they're already working on it so they can gather all that detail and then see the different avenues to go and the costs with each one of those avenues, and bring that back for us so we'll have it for the budget and the process moving forward. So they're on it. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, your team, Lauren. Thank y'all all, Rachel. Thank y'all so much for getting this together and moving fast to get this done. Any questions from the news media? Do we have? I don't see any. Do we see any? Any questions from the public regarding tonight's agenda? Not. That concludes our business for this evening. Thank you for watching the Town Council meeting for the Town of Lexington. This meeting was held at Town Hall on Monday evening, January 29th, 2024. A recording of this meeting will be available for viewing on the town's YouTube channel. Without objection, we are adjourned.